Well, hello, friends and neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome back down on a still Saturday, still shooting whiskey that's, well, a little more affordable. I want to share with you an Irish whiskey, and this has actually been new to my market, so I don't have a lot of history with this. I haven't had any of their expressions except this one, but it is Irish. It is their own liquid from their own distillery. I believe it's called the Royal Oak Distillery. So this is, a blended Irish whiskey, mentions triple casking, released only at 40%, but reasonably affordable in my market. So, I'll give you my thoughts. Why don't you pour a little Irish and sip along and see if you get any of these notes when we look at the Busker Irish whiskey. This is their blend. 3, 4. Well, thanks for staying with me. As I said in the opener, they've actually released, I think, four bottles or 4 expressions of their whiskey right now, and they have released their single malt, released their Irish pot still, released their single grain, and then this blend here. And this blend is, they report that it is a higher amount of the pot still with some of the single grain mixed in. Did they mention that there was some single malt? I can't recall. But I do know that it is reported to have a higher amount of the pot still whiskey as well. Pot still is, malted and unmalted barley in the mash before it goes through the pot still distillation. And then it mentions this triple casking. And so you go to their website, nice site, and they mention that it is, it's got ex-bourbon, ex-sherry, and then it's ex-marsala wine casks, which is kind of cool, right? So there's 3 casking. It's only 40%. But a fair amount of information on it, and it is their own liquid. There's a lot of source liquid currently in my market from Ireland, so it's nice to have a distillery's new liquid. Let's talk whiskey. I know a couple more things about the bottle and give you my overall thoughts. So on the nose, the Busker. A lot of sweet, light fruits, florals, vanillas, light caramels. The only other whiskey I've had today was a rye. It was a very mild rye, kind of a bourbon-esque rye. So, but it makes this almost sweeter. So it is very gentle, fruity, mashed fruit. We've got very ripe apples and pears. A little bit of grain in there, like a little bit of cereal sweetness. And fairly expressive. Perhaps it's the marsala or the sherry even. Like there's a little bit of that floral note that I can get with some Irish. It's not nearly as floral as something like the Sexton or Bushmills Black Bush, but I think you would know if you enjoy Irish. Oh, this is an Irish, just that honeysuckle sweetness, lots of caramel, pretty relaxed. Let's try it on the palate. Sláinte. So it's pretty light on the palate. Even the caramels really back off, and so it stays just kind of this light sugar, like toffee. The fruit, I find the nose is a little bit stronger. The fruit in the palate is light. It's nice. It's a little bit of apple, a little bit of apple skins, that kind of stuff. But the palate doesn't excite me that much. There's not a lot of spice. It's fairly thin. The palate's fine. It's relaxing. I think if you're pouring for a non-whiskey friend, it might even be one of their favorites just because it's sweet and nice. It's just a little bit forgetful. On the long finish or the short finish, the short finish, I got nothing. I got the long finish here and feels a little bit young. I've said this, I don't know what it is. I'm on this kick. There's just an edge of a little metallic, a little bit of kind of that industrial water note. But there's also still just a little breath of some nicer fruit still kicking around, a nice remnants of a bit of a jam or something like that. So there is still, good fruit throughout this whole thing. The Busker, this in my market's between $30 and $40, depending on if you get it on sale or pay regular price. So this isn't, super cheap or anything like that, but it's also really quite affordable. considering I really think it plays exactly where you'd expect. You know, where regular Bushmills, where Jameson, where Tullamore Dew, where, you know, like a lot of the bigger entrance level Irish, it's right there. It might be a little better for me. Just a little bit smoother, a little bit more fruit. I would want, even though with all that casking, I'd want a little more wood for me to be coming at least on the finish. I think that would balance this out really well. Not bad. Not going to get off the floor in my ratings here. We're like 3.25. You know, we're playing in that. I just am not excited about it. In fact, finally in my market, the single malt was released. You know, it's a little different color, but you can recognize it right away. And you know, it's $40 to $45, and it's just enough. And with my experience here, I'm like, I don't know. I'll probably get it at one point, but maybe not in this moment. So, you know what I was gonna say. So that's my thoughts. About 3.25. And I won't be replacing it quickly. But the people behind this distillery, you may recall, I've not ranted, but at least shared some really good thoughts from the Walsh Whiskey Company, like where they did the Irishman and the Writer's Tears. I like their double oak quite a bit. Well, now that I say that, it makes sense, because I was saying I'd like a little more oak on this, and that one has a bit more oak. But they were partnered with an Italian company I'm not going to remember right now, and they, you know, actually built a distillery, but then they parted ways, and the Walsh family kept the names and are still, you know, releasing sourced whiskey in that way. And then the Italian firm, is it Campari? Anyways, they kept the distillery, and they're the ones that are releasing this. So yeah, that's kind of cool. It's really, really nice to taste new liquid as opposed to well selected sourced. I'm totally behind that, but it's just nice to actually taste something new from a distillery. Thanks for joining me again. Hope your Saturday's going well, and if time permits, maybe I can grab a couple of samples on Sunday. You guys take care.